Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. You may take a seat. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, so I am the program director for the day. Can you hear me? Okay, good. Thank you so much. And I did ask them to put a bench here, but they said I'm good to go. So, what's happening today?
There we go.
Today of all days. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, welcome everyone. I'm going to just start off by saying I'm Marilyn Hutton-Willemse. I'm one of the lecturers in the Department of Radiography. I'm probably one of the first people that your students or our students, your children, met when they came on at the university, because I'm also the one that I've introduced them to radiography and to the rest of the colleagues. So it was a pleasure meeting some of you. At first with the VC's address, and then also when they started coming here, some of the parents wanted to see what's actually happening here. So it's always good to have some parents involved in the learning of the children and to check that the environment is safe, right? So yeah, I think that looking at them today, it's beautiful to see them looking so like they are just babies again, once again. But you guys looking good, and thank you parents for joining us today. You are very welcome. But I'm going to call on Mrs. Antoinette Edwards to open this session up with a prayer. Thank you, Mrs. Edwards.
Good morning, everybody. May you please bow your heads. Dear Lord, thank you for blessing us with the gift of life today. Thank you for granting these students the precious opportunity to serve the community and the patients through respecting, caring, and nurturing them by committing themselves by taking the radiography oath today. Lord, please bless them with discernment, empathy, tenacity, and protection as they embark on their radiography journey. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mrs. Edwards. And yes, this is an auspicious occasion where the students, they confirm their pledge to the healthcare service that they are embarking on. And as a clinical radiographer myself, it is a very it's a special occasion, because when you go onto the clinical platform, it is just different. It's not the normal that you would see, because you get different kinds of clients that you will be serving. So you will get those clients that doesn't even look like there's something wrong with them, and then you will be exposed to different kinds, as I told the students already, so they have an idea of what to expect when they are entering onto the clinical platform. But it is I want to say it's a humble profession, but it is very rewarding, and I still enjoy being on the clinical platform. So with that being said, I'm going to welcome our HOD, Dr. Sydney Campbell, to do the welcome today. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Madam Program Director. Everyone in the audience, allow me to welcome you to our pledge ceremony this morning, or rather this afternoon. Welcome to all the parents. It's a wonderful privilege to have you with us, to literally hold the hands of your not so young ones anymore as they embark on a profession of radiography. Allow me also to welcome, of course, the most important people here this morning, the students, whom we will induct into the profession this morning, and they will then make a particular commitment. But before I do, and I speak to them, let me welcome my colleagues as well, because they are very important in facilitating the learning and teaching of the students, and so welcome, colleagues. So I'm not going to be your guest speaker, and it's a good thing, because I normally work in installments of 45 minutes, because I'm a lecturer. So luckily I'm not your guest speaker this morning, but I'm just here to welcome you. But I just need to say a word or two quickly before I give over to the speaker of the day, and I'm sure you will enjoy what she has to say. I just thought in the spirit of being a lecturer, I just thought I'd try and explain to students what a pledge means. And so the students know, if we were in class this morning, I would have asked, is there somebody that can tell me what the word pledge means? But I'm not going to do that this morning. I'm going to ask the question and then answer it myself as well. And so a pledge essentially, ladies and gentlemen, is a promise that you make. In fact, it is slightly more than a promise. It is a serious commitment that you make. And it is a commitment that you make in the public, in front of everyone. And so this morning, when our first year students are going to make their pledge, they're going to make that pledge with us as the lecturers, the parents, all of us sitting in the public gallery. And we will listen to you, and we will be witnesses to that pledge. And don't worry, I will hold you to that pledge. And so I wanted you to understand that a pledge is a serious commitment that you're going to make. And yes, I suppose one needs to ask yourself, so what am I going to pledge? What am I committing myself to? I suppose there are two things that you're committing yourself to. You're committing yourself to being a committed learner, a committed student, so that you will do whatever the lecturers require of you to do. And so, when that RIT homework is given, that you are pledging here this morning that, yes, sir, I will do the homework and I will do all of it. And so that is part of that pledge that you are making, that I will be a committed student. But I earlier mentioned that this is almost an induction into the profession as well. I do have to caution, though, because you are at the start of the race, and this race is a 4-year race. And so whilst I'm saying it's an induction into the profession, I'm very cautious as well, because you still have to overcome a few hurdles before you can be a radiographer alongside many of us. And so what is important, therefore, for you is to understand that as you enter this profession, it is a profession that is largely, or that will largely confront you with a number of people. So there are going to be people that you are going to have to deal with. And the first people that you will have to deal with will, of course, be your lecturers. And I'm sure you now already would have gained an impression that we are all very different. Some of us are very nice, whereas others may not be as nice. Some of us are quite clever, and some of us may not be. No. All of us are quite clever. All of us are quite clever. But be that as it may, you're going to have to navigate this road dealing with us as lecturers. Because if you're not able to do that, you probably will not be successful at the end of the day. But you are also on the brink of meeting other people. In the next few weeks, you will be going into the hospital, not so. And you'll be working with qualified radiographers who will essentially facilitate your learning in the workplace. And so you're going to have to deal and understand and know how to deal with those people in order for you to become this radiographer. But again, you know, there are 4 hurdles that you need to come over, 4 November exam sessions that you will have to pass before you get there. But the most important person, I suppose, that you will meet in the profession will be the patient. And so part of your pledge here this afternoon is to say that I will, when I deal with my patients, I will deal with them in particular ways, in ways that are acceptable, in ways that are ethical, in ways that are to the advantage of that patient. And so when you go out, and once you've made this commitment this afternoon, whenever you meet and interact with your patient, think about this day where you said in front of every one of us that I will do my best to be an ethical, committed healthcare worker. So, ladies and gentlemen, students, this afternoon, as you await our speaker, I just want you to think about what it is that you are going to do. You are going to make a serious commitment. You are going to make that commitment in the presence of many other people, and some of us will hold you to that commitment. So, as you continue this afternoon, all of the best, and may the gods bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Campbell, for that. Yes, I don't think some of us, I think all of us will hold you to that because there are different things that you are going to pledging. So even those lecturers that are not clinical radiographers will hold you to that because if you don't do what is required of you as a student, if you don't do your academic work, then you're not going to be successful, and there will be times where you will be repeating modules and so on. So this pledge is really, I want to say it's serious business. It's not, you shouldn't take it lightly. And the pledge that you will have it for the rest of your life, because you can hold on to that document to remind yourself of the pledge that you have taken. And when you are in troubled waters one day, having to make decisions, you can just reflect and say to yourself, but I've pledged to do X, Y, and Z. And if I do that, it is not what I have pledged to do. Okay, so when you work with your patients, you must work in an ethical way. We must remain professional. Professional has different nuances. So being professional is one of the things that you are also pledging to be today, right? So with that being said, I'm going to now invite our guest speaker, Ms. Simamkele Saul. Ms. Simamkele Saul is a qualified radiographer that also trained at Nelson Mandela University. So we know Ms. Simamkele Saul, and it's always lovely being in a company. No matter what she is challenged with, there will always be a smile on her face, and that is one thing I remember you for, Ms. Saul. So she's a dedicated radiographer, but she's also an emerging writer. And as I said, she graduated at Nelson Mandela University with a degree in radiography. She has a strong medical background, and she brings precision and empathy to the patient. And earlier, Dr. Campbell said that you will be exposed to patients. So that empathy that Ms. Saul is giving to her patients, that is something that I'm sure you have learned in professional practice about. Her writing explores themes of identity, resilience, and transformation, amplifying marginalized voices. Simamkele aims to bridge storytelling and science, giving voice to untold narratives. She aspires to publish her first book soon. Can't wait to read that. She is the person that pushes boundaries in both her professions. So profession as a radiographer and as a writer. And that is how we expand and go into other spheres. We need to push those boundaries. We shouldn't just, and I don't want to say that we must create a revolution or start a revolution, but it's good to push boundaries. We must not remain as we are, because then nothing will change. So welcome us all. Over to you.
I don't like standing in one place. Am I loud enough? Okay, I can't believe I'm here today. To start this speech, I Googled the best radiology codes, but you had to pay to read the examples. And then I remembered, I see bones right through people. Ain't no way I can't pierce through the price. Good afternoon, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be with you here today, and an even bigger honor to speak at this important moment in your academic and professional journey. Firstly, welcome. Welcome to the world of radiography. You are not just starting a degree, but a responsible profession. One that plays a vital role in the healthcare system and touches people's lives in powerful and often unseen ways. Radiography is the eye of medicine. Not so long ago, I was sitting exactly where you are today. I was nervous, wide-eyed and excited, looking at what is lying ahead and not being sure what exactly I'm putting myself in. I remember wondering if I'd be good enough, if I would make it through the clinical hours, the exams, the theory, the long days. Truth is, it is challenging. When I started as a first-year student, I thought radiography was just about taking x-rays or working with big machines. And yes, you will learn all that. The positioning, the professional practice, the imaging technology, the anatomy. But what truly surprised me is how humane this profession is. Behind every image is someone anxious, someone in pain, and someone looking for answers. And we as radiographers play a crucial role in that process. I remember my very first clinical block. I walked into the hospital and I'm like, okay, I'm excited, I'm gonna go call my first patient. And then I asked the patient to please confirm their details, and the patient is like, why? So it could have changed my whole entire experience. But what I remembered was that even though I was second-guessing myself, I was surrounded by mentors and professionals who supported me. And there were those patients that reminded me why I chose this field. And slowly, things started to click. The theory I had learned in class started to make sense on the floor. The lectures weren't just academic anymore, but they were tools preparing me for life decisions and real patient care. Now you'll wonder, how do I connect my studies to this profession? You might be wondering why you need to know certain physics concepts and detailed positioning techniques. You might feel overwhelmed by the load of work that you have to do. But I promise you, everything that you learn here is a building foundation. Radiography isn't just technical, it's professional. That means being ethical, compassionate, precise, and dependable. That is, which module? Professional practice. Okay. When you are qualified, people will look to you for decisions. Your voice matters, your training matters, your ability to collaborate with radiologists, nurses, and doctors will matter. This is a responsible profession, and you are starting to become part of it today. So while you're studying, I encourage you to always ask yourself, how will this help me care for someone? Because at the end of the day, that is what it's all about, caring, not just imaging a body, but serving a person. Life after qualification. So I qualified in 2023 and my graduation was in 2024 in April. The academic journey was not easy for me. It wasn't a jolly ride. There were bumps, But one thing I'll let you know is you'll get there. So let me just give you an overview of what it feels like to be qualified. There's money, of course. So being a newly qualified radiographer has both been exciting and eye-opening for me. I grew fast in skill and also in confidence. I began to trust my judgment. I found my voice and I developed my very own way of working, of interacting with patients and of handling tough days, which you will too as soon as you qualified. There are still challenges along the way, technology challenges. For example, you train at a hospital with a Siemens machine, and then in ComServe, you go work at a hospital with a Shimadzu machine, and then now you don't even know which button goes to the left, which one goes to the right. There will be those things, but through the process and you allowing yourself to learn and listening to other people, you'll grasp that skill and find your foot. There are still challenges. Patients present difficulty. The other day, which was I think 2 weeks back, I had a patient. She had a full wristband on her hand. And then I asked her, ma'am, will you be able to stand? And she says, if you help me and put me on the bed, because all the x-rays I was going to do are going to be on the bed. So as I move her onto the bed, she loses balance on her left foot. And then as I tried to catch her, I couldn't manage, but she didn't fall. I set her on the floor. And then I called someone to come and help me. And then when she went back to the ward, she was crying that she had a traumatic experience. And then I had to write an incident report. So there are 2 things I learned from that. That patient was wrong for changing the whole entire scenario of what happened, but she was right in complaining, because had I seen that she had a full wristband, I should have called someone to be with me in the room. So you learn such things, you know, if I'm faced with a certain challenge, this is how I handle it. So for next time, if I see a patient with the same bend, I will know that I'd rather get help in case the patient falls. So that's a skill you learn along the way, yes. What stays constant is the pride of knowing I'm making a difference. I'm helping diagnose. I'm easing anxiety, and I'm contributing to a team that saves lives. So as you take your pledge soon, take it seriously. It marks your commitment to a profession that demands a lot, but gives more in return. Never let anyone tell you that radiography is not important. It is the eye of medicine, like I had said before, and carry yourself with pride. As you do the pledge today, be proud and say that I am a radiographer and no one is going to tell me otherwise about my career. It's not about the money, it's about caring for people. Yes, the money is, and it's all about, it's all about caring about the people. From this moment on, you are not just students, you are radiographers in training. Repeat after me, you are? Thank you. The identity starts now in how you show up, in how you study, in how you treat your classmates, in how you treat your lectures, and how you will treat your future patients. I'm proud to stand here today, not just as a radiographer, but as someone who knows what it took to get here. And I believe every one of you has what it takes. The sky is no longer the limit. We are moving into the Milky Way galaxy now. We're reaching the solar system, right? Congratulations on making it this far, and welcome to this incredible profession. Thank you.
Ms. Saul, were you paid by Elon Musk to tell us that? Maybe you've got shares there. I just want to echo what Ms. Saul has said. And I don't know if you guys listened to what Dr. Campbell was saying. Ultimately, our patients are the center of our universe when we are on the clinical platform. And I want to also just congratulate Ms. Saul on this beautiful speech that you've just done, and for showing the students that even when you're qualified, you can be vulnerable, because it could have gone so wrong. And just the way that you handled it, calling on your colleagues. You are never alone when you are in radiography. Even when you are working alone. I worked at a hospital where I was the only radiographer on duty, but I was never alone. I always had the support of the nursing staff, the doctors. I never had to move a patient alone because the porters were so great. They were always there. You can't do it alone. Come, let me help you. Even doing mobiles that you guys will be exposed to, they were willing to push the machine for me. So working as a healthcare professional, we teach our students to work together as a group. So you will hear how they will complain about group work. But there is a method to the madness. You can never be the person to think that you can do everything on your own. Never. And I want to also say, they need this eye of medicine. They cannot diagnose a patient completely without the assistance of radiography. If the patient coughs, radiography. If the patient has pain in the back, radiography. Can you see there? If the patient has a heart attack, first thing, chest x-ray. Everything is related to radiography. And so you have chosen a noble profession that is, they can really not do anything without our assistance. So with that being said, it is now time for you to take the pledge. And I will call on Mrs. Hodgson to do the pledge with you. Please take out the pledge out of the envelopes, and over to you, Mrs. Hodgson.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Have you all taken the pledges out? Please stand, students. I'm going to read a paragraph, and then I'm going to look up and indicate to you when you can recite back to me. In the presence of family, friends, educators and colleagues, I, your name, take this pledge as a radiography student within the Health Sciences faculty. I pledge to uphold the university and faculty's values as I embark on developing myself into a professional in service of society.
In the presence of family, friends, educators and colleagues, I, take this pledge as a radiography student within the Health Sciences faculty. I pledge to uphold the university and faculty's values as I embark on developing myself into a professional in service of society.
In my pursuit to becoming an excellent health professional, I promise to uphold the values embraced by Nelson Mandela University as I embark on my journey toward becoming the full version of myself.
In my pursuit to becoming an excellent health professional, I promise to uphold the values embraced by Nelson Mandela University as I embark on my journey towards becoming the full version of myself.
I promise to uphold the faculty's values of integrity, professionalism, excellence, accountability, social responsiveness, and resilient wellness.
I promise to uphold the faculty's values of integrity, professionalism, excellence, accountability, social responsiveness, and resilient wellness.
As a radiography student, I will do my best to understand and respect my academic and personal responsibilities, my freedom of expression, my duty to serve others, and the environment that I share with others.
As a radiography student, I will do my best to understand and respect my academic and personal responsibilities, my freedom of expression, my duty to serve others, and the environment that I share with others.
I will strive to be a reflective student, using every opportunity presented to develop in my profession.
I will strive to be a reflective student, using every opportunity presented to develop in my profession.
I will honor those who teach and mentor me, as well as those who guide my practical skill development.
I will honor those who teach and mentor me, as well as those who guide my practical skill development.
I will continuously embark on learning with gratitude and humility, In this, I will not be swayed by greed, prejudice, or selfish ego in the practice of my profession.
I will continuously embark on learning with gratitude and humility. In this, I will not be swayed by greed, prejudice, or selfish ego in the practice of my profession.
I will apply myself towards developing conscientiousness towards social justice and equality, and I will strive towards internalizing a humanizing approach.
I will apply myself towards developing conscientiousness towards social justice and equality, and will strive towards internalizing a humanizing approach.
I will continue to pursue excellence and share my knowledge with others.
I will continue to pursue excellence and share my knowledge with others.
I will act with enduring respect for the dignity of human life.
I will act with enduring respect for the dignity of human life.
I will hold sacred the trust of my patients and respect the information that they confide in me.
I will hold sacred the trust of my patients and respect the information that they confide in me.
I will uphold the rules of conduct related to the profession of radiography as outlined by the Professional Board of Radiography and Clinical Technology under the auspice of the Health Professions Council of South Africa.
I will uphold the rules of conduct related to the profession of radiography as outlined by the Professional Board of Radiography and Clinical Technology under the auspice of the Health Professions Council of South Africa.
Finally, I will do all in my power to help my patients reach physical, mental, and spiritual health, and I will strive for this balance in my own life.
Finally, I will do all in my power to help my patients reach physical, mental, and spiritual health, and I will strive for this balance in my own life.
May I always have the courage and character to hold these principles sacred from this day forward, as I place myself in the service of humankind. This pledge I make solemnly, freely, and upon my honor.
May I always have the courage and character to hold these principles sacred from this day forward, as I place myself into the service of humankind. This pledge I make solemnly, freely, and upon my honor.
Thank you. I think give yourselves a round of applause. There were some big words there. Please have a seat.
Thank you, Mrs. Hodgson, and thank you to the students. What a mouthful. Do you remember what you just pledged? That's why I said, hold on to that document to remind yourself and to maybe read it a little bit every time. I'm sure not the whole document. It's like reading the Bible. Today it will mean this, tomorrow it will read that, and it depends on the level. So what you have pledged today, read it again in a year's time and see if it makes a little bit more sense, because currently it doesn't really make sense to you. But as you mature as a radiography student, it will start to make sense to you, especially what you have said about the growth that, and you will always apply it in your own life, because you can't seek it in somebody else if you don't apply it in your own life, that spiritual well-being that you strive for. And please remember that as a healthcare professional, you will come across different kinds of people. You will leave your house in one state and you will return in a different state. And I just want to share with you, as a first year student, when I went to the clinical platform the first day, I went very eager, as Imam Kelo was saying, very eager, wanting to be there. Now, when we were students, our first 2 weeks, and you can ask Mrs. Williams, she's looking at me. Our first 2 weeks were spent in the hospital wards. Guys, it wasn't easy. I'm a radiography student. I didn't choose nursing. Now I must be a nurse for 2 weeks. My first patient, I'm not going to say what he did, but I was scarred. And when I got home, I told my parents, and my father said to my mother, she's not going back tomorrow. I went to bed without washing, without doing anything. And you know, when you come from the hospital, the first thing you want to do is take off, wash. I was in such a state, I didn't eat that night. And please, I wasn't the shape. I was slender then, so you could eat whatever you wanted and nothing would happen. Guys, I couldn't do anything. The next morning, got up, had a bath, got dressed, went back to Livingston Hospital. My father was so surprised. What happened? She went back. And that is how it is with radiographers. We do not give up. We continue. And as we get exposed to different things, you will grow. And you don't give up. You just continue. And no matter what life gives you, you do whatever you need to do to get back onto that horse. So if you are challenged, any of you are challenged at any time, and I say this because I always tell them as their mentoring, as a mentoring coordinator of this department, I tell the students, no matter what, you come to me if you can. If you don't feel comfortable, send me an email, and then I will refer you. So there is a lot of support at this university. And I'm mentioning this, I know it is not part of the pledge, but your parents are here now, so they will know there is support at the university. If there are any mental issues, if there are any learning issues of the students, there is support for you. And if you need some peer support, your friend, you have a peer mentor that can also assist you with those things. So with that being said, I want to say that this concludes the pledge, and thank you to the parents once again for taking time out. I know you guys have busy lives. You had to be at work right now probably, but thank you for taking the time out to share this moment with your son or your daughter or your niece or your nephew. But I'm sure they appreciate your presence being here. And you heard the pledge. You can also access that. They can give it to you so that you can remind them. But no, you pledge to the X, Y, and Z, and they need your support throughout their lives as not just a student, but as a radiographer. Because as I said, there will be times that you will have to make difficult decisions, and you maybe just need to reflect, read that again, and reflect and make a decision that is best suited for yourself and for the patients out there. Because remember, we always strive to do no harm, and to when the patient leaves, the patient must leave in a better state. Because the way that we as radiographers treat our patients are not to make them feel inferior, but to make them feel better, because we like to have a little bit of a chat. And I see a colleague smiling there in the background because she's also a radiographer. Yeah, welcome colleague. But anyway, but with that being said, guys, thank you very much. Mrs. Conley is at the back. So as we exit, you will then exit after us, but you need to go to the left where Ms. Conley is seated. Okay, is that correct, Ms. Conley? Ms. Conley's at the back? Okay, Ms. Conley, okay. I don't think any of us have thanked the organizers of this event. I firstly want to just say, I think Mrs. Edwards did that. I want to say thank you to the Almighty for giving us this opportunity to pledge, and for allowing you to make your pledge. And you have just reminded us once again, because as you have taken the pledge, we do the pledge at the same time, because it reminds us, as I said, read that again next year and every year to remind yourself what you are in for. I also want to just say thank you to Dr. Campbell, our HOD, for continuing with this. This started a few years ago, but it's a very good practice to allow students to do the pledge. And then I want to say thank you to our colleague, Mrs. Connolly. She's our secretary. Mrs. Connolly, thank you very much for organizing this. You guys don't realize how much work goes into this pledge ceremony. So every year, without fail, Mrs. Connolly is arranging everything, sending out invites. I'm sure there are some colleagues on the available online as well. I don't know what we're going to do next year when Mrs. Connolly isn't here. But anyway, so thank you very much, Mrs. Connolly, for your hard work, and always there are no glitches. There are never glitches when you are busy working on this thing. So thank you very much to you. And thank you, parents, for taking the time out, I'm going to say once again, for making your learners, your child, your son, your niece, your nephew, to show them they are important in your life. And whatever steps they take in life, you are here to support them. And I'm looking forward to working with them again. I have completed my module, I think. And I'm looking forward to seeing them next year, God willing. And yeah, what an amazing bunch you guys are. Very, very lively. And I do enjoy that. It's the most lively group I've ever had, I must say. And I'm not going to mention names. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so for my smooth. And I just want to say, I hope you guys have a good afternoon and enjoy. So the students, they will get their parcels that side, Mrs. Connolly? Okay. Must I exit there? Okay. Okay, so we will exit here and you will exit that way. Thank you so much.